In order to customize my device a little bit more, I picked up the iCarbons skin for the iPod Touch 5th generation. I really like the brushed aluminum look, and I'm not disappointed with my purchase. It looks really nice, as you can see, and I really love the attention to detail. If I bring this closer up, I think you can see what I'm talking about. It has a precise cutout for the camera, the flash, and the mic, as well as the loop, even though I never use this. But I do use the camera on this iPod Touch, so I really like that they have a precise cutout for that, because for me that is rather important. I also like that they have a little bit of an Apple sticker in the box or in the package, and I really like how you have the option to apply that or not, and that it doesn't really come flush with the skin itself, and it has a little bit of a different look, so it does stand out on the back, as you can see right there. And overall, the back looks pretty by itself, but there is also a front if you choose to get the front. You can get the back or the front, or the back and the front, which I got the back and front package, so I got both of them. It's $19.95 for both, $12.95 for either or, but I really like having both of them because I really like the combination. So on this side, or rather the side without the volume buttons, you can see that there is a little bit of black showing, of course, because that is the naked iPod Touch. So it only wraps around, it doesn't cover the full iPod Touch. But I really like that. That's really a smart move because, as we see right here, having the ports precise would be pretty difficult. And even if they managed to make it look somewhat plausible, it will still look pretty ugly if they try to make it look precise. So that's a smart move. I wouldn't want to have the skin here anyway. It would just look kind of weird. So as we could see, the tour over here just looks so nice. And going to the other front, you do have your volume buttons right here. And of course, the way they do stick out, or rather match, of course not match, but they do go well with the aluminum skin right here. And just looking at it from the side profile, it does look really nice, I do have to admit, of course. So on the top, we do have the power button, or the sleep wake button, along with the black right here. So I didn't really want to have the skin right here, so I really like that iCarbons didn't. So yeah, that's just something I really enjoy. And let's look at the front right here. And it looks really nice. I'm not a big fan of bright, shiny bezels, but I have to make an exception for this one. If I get tired of the bezel of this one, I can always remove the skin and reapply it when I feel like it, which is another plus of the skin. So I don't really have to worry about not wanting this, and that's the reason I didn't get the white iPod Touch, because I thought that I'd have the white thing forever, and the only way to do that would be to get a black skin. But since I'd rather honestly have a black than a white bezel, it's better to temporarily remove this if I choose, but it still looks really nice nonetheless, because I really like how it looks overall, even though of course I'm not a fan of those shiny bright bezels. Even though I do have to admit, one of the negatives is that it's pretty shiny. In the sun it like glimmers, and it pretty much attracts so much attention, and it's just like a reflection or something. It's like a tin foil with a reflector. Of course, that's aluminum foil, similar to the brushed aluminum skin, hence the name. But of course, it is really shiny, and that's not something really that's your primary focus for a skin like this. But that is just one negative, but it still looks so nice. So the fact that it looks so nice just overweighs the fact that it sticks out a lot. So let's try to unlock this and see how it looks just normally. So as you can see, I really like how it looks overall. It just looks so nice, and even though it doesn't look exactly like a white iPod Touch, that's not really my primary focus here. But as you can see, it does glimmer, and it does really show the brushed aluminum look, and I really like it overall. I do have to say it looks really nice. I'm not used to this since the last iPod Touch that was white that I had, or a somewhat shade of white, of course. It was primarily white, and of course I have to mention again, this isn't white, this is the aluminum version, but it pretty much brings back the old days of me having the white iPod Touch, but in reality that was like 3 months ago, so I can't really call it the old days, but you pretty much get my point. It looks really nice. I don't know how many times I have to mention that, but let's take a tour around one more time. As you can see, you have those nice cutouts on the back and the side, with the other side being completely aluminum with the little nubs of black showing. On the bottom, you have your ports completely open, and on the front, it just looks really nice. So I pretty much listed a lot of positives with only one negative, of course it being that it does stick out like a sore thumb sometimes, and yeah, And it doesn't come with a screen protector either, but I don't really care much about a screen protector. The other thing I like is that it hides the fingerprints that are on near the glass here and here. Of course, since the skin is covering it, it doesn't allow it to be applicable to fingerprints. And I do really like that, but of course, the screen is still going to be finger coated because, of course, there's nothing really to stop that, even though it's supposed to be fingerprint resistant, supposedly. Hint, hint, Apple, but yeah, I really like this case. I would give it a 9 out of 10. I love it for the price. The only reason I would give it a 9 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10 or 9.5, since I already said that negative thing that it sticks out, the only reason I would put it down is because of its application process. Not an application on your iPod Touch, it's the application how you apply the skin onto the iPod Touch. It took me 30 to 45 minutes to put this skin on, believe it or not. I had to spend a good chunk of my afternoon after school to put this skin on, therefore delaying the time I had to do my other more important things like my schoolwork. But it did take a while to put this thing on. I remember applying it, reapplying it like 10 times on the back to make it look nice, and it took a rather long time for me to get it to the place that I wanted to. And it really took me a long time to get the back on, roughly 30 minutes. Then it took me 15 minutes about to put the front on. And the bubbles are pretty easy to get out once you put it on, but once you get past the application process, it's just really awesome looking. The work pays off, guys. After applying it, it does pay off. And that's pretty much all I have to say as far as that goes. So overall, I love this skin. Looks really nice. As an example, I guess I'll bring up an application to see how the border reacts with it. Of course, let's bring up, let's see what game we should play. Let's do a simple game that's easy to jump into, like Super Hexagon. Right here. It just looks really awesome overall. Playing any game, it just looks like shiny. More of a glittery look when you're playing games in the direct sunlight. But if you're not in sunlight, it just looks like a white bezel, but when you are in direct sunlight, it looks so aluminum, and the brush effect really goes into full force there. I really like how it contradicts with the black iPod Touch, but yet it contradicts in a place or a point where it just looks so nice, and overall, I would really recommend this skin to anyone. If this isn't something that you would like, if you're not a fan of the nice, classy brushed aluminum look, there are also other skins you could get for the iPod Touch 5th generation. You could get a red carbon fiber, which has a carbon fiber look, or pretty much essentially red. You could get white and black carbon fiber. You could get brushed aluminum, brushed titanium, which is a different shade, but I like the aluminum better. It just looks better. You also have wood, light wood, and dark wood. I was considering that, but I ended up getting this, as you can see, and I had no regrets since. So I really hope you enjoyed this full look review and my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully this was better than the Shoutout Extravaganza I was planning for today. I will post that sometime, guys, this week, so stay tuned for that by Saturday. Sorry, I just thought this was better to do since this is something I haven't done before, and I just really wanted to give you guys a review and first look. So I'll catch you all in the next video, guys. If you have anything to comment down below, I would love it, and I'll catch you all in the next one.